Hey guys, what's going on? This is Knife Standards. Today we are continuing with our Boker reviews. This is actually the last Boker review that I'm going to be doing for now. There's always a chance that I do more in the future, but this is the last knife that was in that initial unboxing that I did. I think I titled it the Epic Boker Unboxing, rightfully so, but I think I saved the best for last. So this is definitely the most premium of the Bokers that I handled, that I unboxed, and it's pretty good. There's only one or two little things that I'm not crazy about. The rest is pretty positive. So there's your Cliff Notes. And we'll get into this in just a second. This is called the Conductor, by the way. This is from Boker Plus. Boker has different kind of umbrellas of, Boker USA, et cetera, different umbrellas of production. But this is pretty good. And this is designed by Brian Efros. I'm sure you guys have seen his knives, his custom knives, and his designs. So let's get into this. First, you guys can follow me, of course, at Knife Standards on Instagram. And we are rolling up on 3,500 subscribers on YouTube. So that is amazing. Thank you so much for the support. And I just dropped a new version of the RR Station Express. I do not have that many of them, of this particular version. It's a carbon fiber. I'll do a video on it, but it's a carbon fiber. Something is beeping. I don't know what's beeping. You guys hear that? Anyway, I don't have that many versions. Of this particular version of the RR Station Express, but it is a carbon fiber that is rarely used. I don't think I've actually ever seen it used on a knife, maybe on a custom, but never on a production. So check that out, knifestandards.com. Get that out of the way. Oh, and let's talk about the Conductor. So I'm looking at some specs right now. We got, and I'll kind of just go over them real quick for you guys. Overall length, 7.87 inches. Blade length, 3.3. It's a pretty nice blade to handle ratio. Let's kind of see how it sits in my hand. And my hands are on the smaller side. Someone commented, I think they were new to the channel, and they said, oh man, you have tiny hands. I mean, kind of, yeah. I say that in a lot of my videos. I do not have large hands. So it kind of makes for an interesting, for interesting ergonomics on some knives. But this fits my hand really well. I get a full 4-finger grip. Designer, Brian Efros, again, really kind of sought after, pretty kind of exclusive custom maker. His stuff is crazy expensive, so you get a chance to handle his designs, even though it is a production knife. His customs, they pop up every once in a while on the secondary, and man, pricey. So this says thumb stud, but it's not really. It's more like a thumb disc, which is not really my jam, I gotta say. It works okay on this knife, and I see why they went for the thumb disc. It would be pretty tight with a thumb stud. It's possible, but this kind of fits this design a little bit better. We'll talk about that in just a second, but we got the carbon fiber inlays. They're calling it a frame lock, which it is. You can see it is a frame lock. And then you have these kind of inlays or overlays of this weave carbon fiber, which I love. I love the look of that. So anything else that you guys need to know from these official specs? I don't think so. Should we talk about the price? So now here's where it gets a little tricky. Kind of like this one, which I think is awesome. But where's the steel? But 154 cm, for sure there are certain steels that are more expensive than others. At the very top of that list, I know because all of my production knives are in Vanex Super Clean. Vanex is incredibly expensive for me. I have to pay more for Vanex than I would if I was using, for example, M390. M390 would be much less expensive. So there are benefits you get with Vanex over M390. Anyway, I say that because I got a comment or two about this guy that, and I agree somewhat that there should be an upgraded steel for the price of this. I love the design. I think this is super well done. But for 154 cm blade steel, I feel like you could upgrade this to S90V or something more premium for the price tag. And I forget exactly how much this goes for, but you can check out my other review. I just posted that a few days ago, the Quaken Sim. And the reason I bring that up is for this, we have S35VN blade steel. I think it says, where does it say? There you go. Which is a great steel, don't get me wrong. But again, the price tag I want to talk about real quick. This is listed on Boker's website. So it might be different if you're getting it from a dealer or something. I'm not sure. I haven't checked the dealers. But this is $371. So you're getting really high quality construction. This is definitely the most premium Boker that I've handled. $371 for S35VN. I'm not sure if that matches up as far as the blade steel goes for the price. As far as construction, quality, action is just bonkers on this knife in a good way. But you got to decide for yourself. $371, definitely on the more premium side. So just keep that in mind. I don't normally talk price up front in the videos because I like to kind of go in blind. And I did initially when I unboxed this, but now that I've had some time to spend with it, I wanted to let you guys know how much it costs. So let's talk about, and by the way, I was doing a little bit more research on this knife, and there's so many Boker knives that I didn't even know existed. There is a production max from Wear Knives. Who knew that Wear Knives was doing a production? And it looks very similar to his customs. Wear Knives does some sick customs, and I had one of his production knives. I think it was a Riot production. But again, that one is an S35VN, but it looks great. Titanium, looks like titanium frame. Yeah, titanium frame lock, really nice, very similar to his customs as far as the design goes. Of course, it is a production knife. But anyway, so I thought I would bring that up. All right, cool. Get that out of the way. And let's talk about the Conductor. Cool name. I think they're saying the Conductor like a music conductor. And let's start with the blade. So we got a machine satin. Not my favorite look. I always prefer a belt satin, but again, that increases the price. And also, not every manufacturer, not every machine shop is capable of doing the machine satin. So not a big deal on that one. Flat ground. This has a number on it, 0517. I'm not sure if that is the number of the knife, like the serial number, or if that is like a SKU, of this model. Brian Efros, so you know who designed it, okay? Titanium handles. You have these carbon fiber, let's call them inlays or overlays. Now let me just double check. Yeah, those are looking like T6s to me. I haven't disassembled this. I'm not going to disassemble it. But T6s on the inlays, I mean, I prefer T8s. Again, I haven't disassembled this. I don't think I'm going to, but it would be nice if we had T8s all around, because you have T8 for the pivot, and looks like T6s for the lock bar insert, for the overlays, and then for the clip. The action is one of the craziest things and I think best things about this knife. The action is just insane. So as far as detent goes, very nice, snappy, smooth. It's not killing my thumb or anything, but check that out. I mean, kind of surprised. I was really surprised when I first unboxed this and was carrying this a little bit. It's just really, really smooth. I mean, you guys saw that. It's definitely one of the most drop shut production knives. I think number one on my list all time is I should do a video on that, is the Grimsmo Rask. That thing is like, as soon as you disengage the lock, it just teleports shut. It's kind of scary, but this is very smooth. This reminds me of the RR Station as far as action goes. Similar kind of smoothness. Of course, this is on bearings. You have the pivot, kind of domed. See that little, kind of sticks out a little bit on both sides. Surprisingly, a little bit more on the pivot side, but kind of clean construction, back spacer, and you have this nice little detail, kind of comes up to a little point, to a little ridge. Centering looks great. Now, there's only one real thing that I would change about this, because I think this is a solid design, great production. The ergos are super comfortable, so that's the positive. The only thing is the clip, and I've actually seen this clip on Brian Efros's knives, and I haven't handled. If I have handled his customs, I don't remember. It must have been a long time ago. I don't know if I have. But I've seen him use a similar type of kind of bent clip on some of his knives, and it's just not fun to get in and out of pocket. And I didn't carry this a lot or anything. I didn't use and abuse this too much. But in and out of pocket, the retention is very tight, and the tip of this is fairly sharp. So to me, this is like super high quality, drop point blade shape, incredible silhouette, really nice ergos. And then you guys know how I'm kind of picky with my clips. It just feels like an afterthought, you know, kind of a bent clip. And I think they're trying to stick with what's on some of his custom knives to make it have that custom feel. But this part is just sharp. I don't really like this little ridge, this little ramp. The retention is just tough to get in and out of pocket. So I would love to see a different clip option for this. I think other than that, it is super smooth, comfortable in hand. The thumb disc is not really my jam, but I think it works really well on this knife. And the detent is dialed in. I'll do a few size comparisons. We have my Para 3 that I customized. So you can see a little bit larger than the Para 3. Got my PM2. Get this out of the way. So pretty similarly sized. I think the PM2 is a little bit larger. And then last one, what else do we have here? Aha. Get a little Vosti Martin action. Again, definitely bigger than that. So I think overall this is pretty solid. Is S35VN your blade steel of choice? I don't know. For me personally, I'm gonna go with, I mean, I'm a little biased because my production stuff is in Van X, or, you know, our standards were in MagnaCut. So I'm gonna go, I usually reach for one of those steels first, just in general. But there's a ton of great steels out there, don't get me wrong. And I think this, I don't know if there are other versions of this knife, but I would like to see different inlays, even though I do like the classy carbon fiber weave. Maybe a different clip. I don't know how into the clip Brian Efros is, or how much, you know, say he had in the production. Because again, I'm not sure if they modeled this after a custom that he built, or if this is a design that he sent in to Boker. I don't know the specifics, but I do know that this is pretty solid. You got to decide if it's worth it for you. I think the ergos and the action are super high quality. I mean, incredibly smooth. I think this is a fun knife, a fun take, especially if you're into Brian Efros's work, a fun take on his custom. So there we have it, the Conductor. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will be back very soon with some more knife content and knife reviews. All right, catch you later.